Down among the pile, discarding humans. Down among the pile, bought and sold. Down among the ones they once forgotten. Down here in the only world they know.
Welcome back, my friends, my comrades from the military, whoever you are out there watching Ranger 6. Want to make a quick clarification from my last video. When I said I was failing or had failed and that I didn't graduate, what I meant was I didn't graduate with Ranger Class 5-86. So, yeah, I was in Florida when that happened, and I recycled into 6-86, which meant that I had to stay at the Florida, down in Eglin Air Force Base at, what was the name of that base? I'll look it up. Okay, don't judge me too harshly. It's in 1980, it was in 1986. I'm sorry, 1987, it was 6-86, yeah, so we got to get the class right. So, it's fiscal year. Remember, fiscal years are from 86 that flow over into 87. Does the Army still do it that way? I don't know. Anyway, so I did graduate from 6-86, but I failed a number of events. I didn't get peered. I was good at, my peers gave me high points. You know how to do that? You know, I wasn't going to include this, I wasn't going to say this, but you know how to do that? Every time you stop and you got to do a water resupply, volunteer. Who wants, they'll walk up to to your patrol. Who wants to volunteer to go get water? No Ranger wants. They don't want to move any more than they have to. They're already exhausted. So I raised my hand. Yeah, you gather. It's work. You know, gather up all the canteens, take them down to the stream, fill them up, bring them back, drop into iodine tablets. Don't drink the water yet. It's pretty clean in Florida. The water there is pretty doggone clean. Go through some of them streams and they're crystal clear. Who would have known there'd be little leeches in there? Leeches? In America? Down in Florida there is, in those crystal clear streams. Yeah. So, check yourself. They're small. They don't take much blood. Anyway, got that covered. So I'm going to be looking down at my notes. They're not over there. They're over here this time. All right, I got the clock over here. I'm checking the clock. So we're on a time constraint. I don't want to take too much of your time. So let's, I just want you to come here and relax. That's it. Relax about 15 minutes. Drink your beer. Drink your coffee. Have a slice of pizza before you move on to your next event. Next thing I want to say, when you're looking at the videos, okay, you'll see some things in there. This time I showed a pilot, a captain in the U.S. Air Force that was piloting a Reaper overseas, probably here in the United States, piloting a Reaper over there that's shooting Hellfire missiles. Okay, he went to Ranger School, probably went to Air Force Academy, and he probably was a cadet, because I know in the summer when I recycled, we had cadets from West Point. They didn't all make it, by the way. Anyway, so I want to show you that. So obviously, you already know this. It's an all-service school. Everybody goes there. So the Air Force, I was surprised, though, to see that from a pilot. So I've seen PJs, parajumpers, and, of course, the Navy SEAL cadets from West Point. That was in the second, that was 6-86. And then, of course, people from other countries. There was a guy in our class from Jordan, for example. Anyway, moving on. Ranger Handbook. So we got the Ranger Handbook here. This is not my original Ranger Handbook. This is from 1992. I wouldn't think that you're going to be using this in Ranger School. I didn't. I looked at it one time, it didn't help me at all. It was more of a prop than anything else. I didn't know it was a prop at the time. Didn't help me. We'll talk about up in Dahlonega. Trying to give an op order with this thing. Yeah, you got to know that stuff before. This is a great book, though. I still look at it from time. I'm looking at it now because I'm giving these videos. So I got to know it. I'm studying. I'm doing my homework. All right, I'm talking to my viewers out there. You guys know your stuff, so I better know mine. That's the way it works when you're in leadership. Enough of the handbook. Put that over here. Moving on. I told you the story about me going to Rangers, how I got selected. When I was at Second Anglico, I had 4 days to prepare. Okay, that's not enough. So you got to have your act together before you get selected. So I was already selected. They already looking at me and going, this guy is a model, an outstanding Marine, which I think I was. They thought I was anyway. So I was probably the best physically fit in the entire Second Anglico at the time. So I was a land navigation god, which I've mentioned before. So those two things saved me, kept me. And I was also swim qualified like at the highest level. So those three things saved me. You don't want to go down there not be highly confident in the water. I mean, it's not like Navy SEAL or Army divers school. It's not like that. You know that if you graduated. It's not like that. So, but you better be comfortable in the water. Very comfortable jumping in with all your gear in the water. Because Ranger School itself you're going to be in the water a lot. But, I mean, not like the Navy SEALs. Okay, not like that. But there's a lot of streams across down in Florida and in at the Ranger where you train at Fort Benning. What's it called again? Is it Benning? So I think they changed the name. Whatever, we're going to call it Fort Benning. That's what it was called when I was there. Lots of streams, even in the summer. Yeah, lots of mud and swamps and sudden drop-offs. Make sure if you are doing point, because it's just going to drop off, and we don't want you to, it's black at night, and all your movements, they're not during the day. I mean, you do a little bit of moving during the day. All your movements, as you know, are at night. So, if you're on point, be very, very careful in Benning. Moving on, next thing. So, what do you want to be fully prepared? I touched on this just a little bit on the last video, and that is your fitness and swim call. We just covered that. Tactical knowledge and presenting operation orders, first rate, and then know the rope bridge. Okay, the one thing you're going to learn in Ranger School. You don't learn anything else. We'll talk about what you do learn. Okay, in a minute. Okay, the other stuff like commando stuff and military. You're not learning anything down there. But one thing you do learn are knots and belaying. They even have a belay test. And you don't pass that belay test, recycle. Anyway, that's how, that happens. So, but you better know the rope bridge, because if you don't know the rope bridge and you're going down there and trying to learn it, remember, you're exhausted. You don't want to learn anything. You just want to accomplish events that get you through Ranger School. So learn the stuff before you get there. That's the secret of graduating Ranger School, assuming you don't get hurt on a jump, assuming you don't break your ankle while you're walking through the forest in Florida and it's pitch black at night, assuming you don't break an arm, something like that. But the biggest thing are those things. So do that, be prepared. Okay. Let me talk about preparedness a little bit more. So I already touched on, don't assume you're going to learn anything. You're not going to learn. You're there. You know why you're there. You're there to survive. Now, there are officers and we talked about people in the military. They're on the next level. All right. So those individuals are probably thinking about being at the top of the class, if they're thinking that way. I don't know. Maybe it's just natural for them to be up there. There's that too. I don't know how they think. That's why they're at the next level. But we ought to cover tactical knowledge for the school. Get the manuals on platoon and squad tactics. Platoon and squad tactics. Know how to utilize your automatic weapons. And all those platoon and squad level, might even be good to study the company level manuals. Okay, know those. Probably not going to get a company position. The class leader's going to get that, and there's a company assault at the very end. At least there was in '87. Okay, they're down in Florida on the island, this big concrete complex. Anyway, let's move on, and you better be a land navigation man or woman if you're going through it. Better know land nav. Okay. Looking at my notes. Don't want to. I'm more organized this time. Did you notice that? More organized. Got the notes. And I won't go over time. We're not going to go over 15 minutes. I will not do that to you because your time is valuable. So let's not do that. All right. What do you learn now? You do learn something. You know what you do? You know what you learn? You learn who the heck you are. That's what you're doing. You learn what you're made of, what you can take. The orders you can do. You can accomplish things. And that carries you forward in your military career and afterwards. That's what you learn. You're going to be doing you learn problem solving in the military, you learn problem solving in your civilian work, problem solving in school, things like that. In interrelationships, problem solving, you learn those problem solving. But you don't learn problem solving like you learn in Ranger School because you're under pressure, stressful conditions. And that's the whole thing about not having any sleep and being starved. That's what you learn. Problem solving under stress. That takes care of this piece of paper. The next thing I want to talk about are historical lessons. That's why at the beginning of the video I showed a chart of the value of information that you can apply to actionable intelligence. But you can also apply it to the historical information that I'm giving you to, hopefully I give it to you fast enough so you can apply it to your situation. So that is my intent there. But that image applies to other things too. What else do I want to talk about? With respect to historical information, things that I give you, I don't want to it's not going to be like a class. You get enough of that. You get enough of that. So this is going to be more like entertainment. I want to pass information to you, but I also want you to be entertained because you learn good. Now think about your one of your favorite movies. Do you remember it? Why? Why do you remember? Because you liked it. It was entertaining. Your brain doesn't really, when you're being entertained, your brain is not working. It's just kind of relaxing. Well, when you're in a learning environment in class, yeah, you're switching on some work. But here, I don't want you to work. So let's make it entertainment. Let's make it like a movie so you'll remember what I'm teaching you. What else? Last thing I want to talk about. So in Ranger School at the time in 1987, we're really important. And we're going to do this. So there was a Ranger School, Ranger Regiment is using patrol orders and you giving orders as the vehicle, as the movement of how they're moving you through the learning process. That's what they're doing. So they have, I won't talk about the flow of the patrol order today, or the troop that move into troop leading steps. I won't do that. We don't want to go there. But I will say this, that those patrol orders were applicable to what was done, what we did in Vietnam with the Studies and Observation Group, also known as MACV-SOG. So if you read about that, those are the kind of patrols that we are putting together, that we are constructing, organizing's the right word, organizing in Ranger School. We're organizing that mission for MACV-SOG type, across the fence type missions, deep missions, reconnaissance and combat missions. So also not just SOG, but let me throw this, because I've mentioned this before about the long range reconnaissance patrols and Ranger missions, Ranger companies that were in Vietnam. For though that is what Ranger School in 1987 was basing the operation orders on, the patrol orders on, in my opinion. So in Ranger School, so we're doing reconnaissance patrols, so we're doing point reconnaissance and area reconnaissance with actions on enemy contact. What was at that time break contact. So we got the, don't compromise the patrol by being detected. Then you compromise the patrol, and now you have to exfil to get out. Yeah, so you need to get out of the reconnaissance area. So because the enemy, the North Vietnamese, are going to be surrounding you and hunting you down like a dog. So you get compromised, that could end your mission right there. You make contact. You make contact on reconnaissance patrol. You are breaking contact. So learn how to do that. Be ready for it. Have that down to a science. Next thing, combat patrols is all about ambushes, raids, and movement to contact. Those are the three combat type patrol missions in Ranger School when I was there. And so we really learn that movement, your actions on enemy contact when you make contact and you're on a movement. Okay, that'll save you, by the way. So, saved me. So I got to go on my last patrol, my PL patrol. Anyway, I'm checking the time. You finished with that pizza yet? Chop that baby up. Eat it and enjoy. Don't eat it fast. All right? Enjoy the pizza. Anyway, I think we're done. That's it. We got through 2 pages. I got more pages over here. But you know what? We're going to stop. And later on, because I want you to have checklists on what you want to think about. In your unit, you're going to have checklists. All right? But I want you to have some checklists on my video. So you can go to and check the list. But I'm just not going to hold up the paper. We're not going to do that. That's not professional. You don't want that. So you're taking your time. Time is money. Let's not do that. Let's make it professional. I'll get it up there in a nice, neat fashion on the video so you can pause it, look at it, check the box. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work. Hooah!